Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Kate with Beautiful Light Home. I am a Waldorf inspired homeschooling mama to two kiddos. My oldest, my son, he'll be 7 at the end of the summer. So we're going to go into September as our first academic year. It'll be first grade. And this video is part of an entire series I'm doing on planning my own curriculum for first grade. So you can go back and see all the other videos that I've already created about why I'm creating my own curriculum, the tools that I'm using to create my own curriculum, and some of the resources. I've also already posted about the kind of the extracurricular type of activities that I've planned out so far for form drawing and handwork and watercolors. So you can feel free to check those videos out. Whew. So it's June right now. So I've got 3 months. Well, we're halfway through June basically. So I've got like 2.5 months to finish planning the curriculum. And right now, what I've been working on for the past several months is the language arts blocks. So I have another video that I've posted about how I've scheduled my year. We will have 4 language arts blocks and 4 math blocks. The interesting thing though is that although we have these like main lesson blocks, one of the resources I'm going to share with you in a second that is absolutely invaluable to planning your language arts blocks. They tell you that not only, although you're focusing only on 4 language arts blocks throughout the year, while you're doing your math blocks, you also have to do language arts skills as well. So really it's a full year of language arts that I will be planning. So I wanted to share this with you today, some of my tools and resources that I'm using, what I'm finding helpful. I have not planned everything out just yet. But because it's June, if you are in the situation that I'm in where you want to plan your own curriculum and you have 2.5 months left to do it, you need to get started ASAP with this book I'm going to share with you. And that's why I wanted to come on here today to kind of tell you about what I'm doing so far. So this book is absolutely invaluable to the language arts blocks. So it is called The Roadmap to Literacy. It's a guide to teaching language arts in Waldorf schools, and this one is specifically grades 1 through 3. This is the most expensive book I've purchased out there. Most of the books that I have gotten for my curriculum, a few of them have been brand new, but most of them I was able to find on either thrift books or I think Abe Books is the other one that I use. This resource, there's not many used ones of them out there, so you have to buy it new, and it's expensive. It's about $75. I just checked on Amazon right before I came on here, and it's $75. You also want to be sure, if you are purchasing this, to make sure that it's the grades 1 through 3. There is a 4 to 6 edition that just came out as well, but you want to make sure you're getting whichever book is for the grades that you're teaching. So the way I justified this is, first of all, language arts is one of the most critical skills that my children are going to need. And as this book explains, Waldorf education, when Rudolf Steiner planned Waldorf education and gave his indications for Waldorf education, he was working with the German alphabet, which is vastly different and vastly less complicated than the English language is. So most Waldorf teachers who are in an English-speaking environment get to Rudolf Steiner's indications and they teach them as they are taught from Steiner, and then realize their children are still struggling to read and write. And it's because the English language is incredibly complicated and complex. And this book tells you why. I didn't realize why our language was so complex, but there's an entire chapter on that in here, and it's so eye-opening. But the way I justified spending $75 on this is because I'm going to use this for 3 years. It's for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade. So spending like $30 for a little less than $30 a year for a book, I felt like was valuable. wait, $25. It's $25 a year, sorry. Spending $25 a year for this book just made sense to me. It's written by Janet Langley and Jennifer Militzer Copperell, and it goes through so much. I am on page 153. I have a goal of reading 20 pages a day in here. I mean, I am highlighting as I go, and here's what I'm doing. It's very dense. There's so much information in here. Frankly, I'm a bit overwhelmed going through it, and there's a lot of jargon in here that I have never used really before, like phonemes and things like that, phonemic awareness, things like that. Words I've never used before, but I'm learning it as I go. So here's what I'm doing. Step one, I'm going through and I'm reading a couple pages. I'm highlighting things that I find interesting and that I'll probably need. So I'm just, some of it, everything's highlighted. But then there's other pages, especially as we go up, that like, I don't, like I didn't have this entire thing highlighted, right? So I'm going through, I'm highlighting some pages. I mentioned before, one of the tools that I'm using is called GoodNotes. It is an app that you have to pay for. It is not a subscription, it's a one-time payment, but I'm finding OneNotes to be completely valuable to this situation. Here's the reason why. And maybe you could do this with other apps that are free, but this is just one I already had because I was using it as my planner, and it's really working for me. So I have in here, as I'm going through, I'm typing in information. So you can see I type information in that I'm finding valuable. But you've already seen some, but here's why I love GoodNotes. There's times where I just need an entire chunk of what the book is saying, and I just take a picture of it and I put it right in here. So this way I have everything that I need right in here. There's some that are complete pictures. That's as far as I've gotten so far. But then there's some where I mix in words and things like that. So it's GoodNotes has been incredibly valuable for me in lesson planning. And I know I'm going to use this going forward. So this is what I'm doing so far. So my goal is to go through the entire book. It's about 600 pages. And like I said, I'm about 150 pages in, and it is dense. It's very dense. So I'm going through, taking my notes, and then my goal is after I'm done all of my notes, I think this is going to become a lot less confusing once I get to the end. There's a whole entire section on planning curriculum. There's a whole entire section on first grade curriculum. So I think this is going to get a lot less complicated after I get through some of this and understand it a little better. But in addition to this, I wanted to share, so both of these women who wrote this book, Janet Langley, they both have their own websites that I want to point you to. So Janet Langley and Jennifer Militzer Copperell, they both have their own websites. I'm going to start with Jennifer Militzer Copperell's. Hers is called renewalofliteracy.com. She has free forms on there that complement lesson planning and block planning from this book. So you can print them out and write your own in, or you can fill them in electronically. So she has different forms available. Everything is literary focused in here, literacy focused. She also has, it's like a paid subscription that you can do where she can give you help on planning curriculum. There's a whole course on breaking this down if you need that. So she has a lot of great information on hers. So that's Jennifer Militzer Copperell, and her website is called renewalofliteracy.com. Another great website is by Janet Langley. So it's Janet Langley, and she also has a partner on here called named Patty Connolly. And her website is fantastic. It's called Waldorf Inspirations. And where Renewal of Literacy is just focused on literacy, Waldorf Inspirations is on every subject. And she has so many forms and so many resources on there for every grade and every subject, essentially. And I already started, she has forms, ideas, articles. She has her own literacy training courses on there. But just the items that are free on there are incredibly valuable resources. I started going through and printing out a whole bunch. In fact, where is it at? Yeah, like I already have one here. Like they have the sample first grade block rotation that you can print out. The grade 1 main lesson structure. So essential summer reading for grade 1 class teachers. So there's so many valuable resources, and this was all from Waldorf Inspirations. Yes, it was. So there's so much available out there that's free. But I do think this one's a must. There's phonics rules in here. There's just so much in here that kind of goes through the hows and whys of teaching literacy in a Waldorf fashion. So it doesn't abandon Steiner's indications by any means, but it just adapts them to the English language. Okay, so that's one tool I'm using. The other things, I had bought these 2 books because I didn't know, and I bought these ones secondhand. This is LMNOP and all the letters A to Z. These are poems by Howard Schrager with illustrations by Bruce Biscoff. That's this one. And then I also have Waldorf Alphabet book, also bought secondhand by Famke Zonneveld. I don't think these are necessary, to be honest. Are these beautiful? Yes. Will I probably use them as a supplement? Yeah, I bought them. I might as well. What you're going to find in LMNOP, I thought these were going to be more stories that I could use in the class, because in Waldorf education, you introduce the consonants and the vowels so you introduce the entire alphabet using stories for each letter. So I thought that's more what I was getting here. It's not. That's okay. In my Roadmap to Literacy book, they said you need poems and tongue twisters and things like that for each letter. So I think we'll still use these. I just don't think that they're necessary. What I do think I'll probably use them for too, though, is the beautiful illustrations of each letter. I might use them as inspiration for our own. So, like for instance, I'm pretty sure Snow White and Rose Red is the story we'll use for the letter B, because there's a bear in it. So I might use this bear as like inspiration for the B that we might use. I think this is supposed to be a cave. So like I might use some of these pictures as inspiration as we go through. But I can already see, like they'll tell you in Roadmap to Literacy, like you don't want to use blend sounds, like the DR is for dragon, and the DR sound, dr, almost makes like a J sound. So it's not really what you want to use. But again, for as far as like alliteration or a type of poem to go with it, might be fine. This Waldorf Alphabet book, again, beautiful pictures, but there's not even poems to go with it. And so you can use these as inspiration as well. Here's what I think I'm going to do with this book. My daughter will be 5. So as we're going through all of this, and I'm teaching my son, my 5-year-old daughter is going to be there, and she thinks she's 7 years old. So I know as I'm going through, in a perfect environment, she wouldn't be exposed to this stuff, but we're home, we're in a homeschool environment. That's not how it works. So I'm going to have to share, I'm going to have to modify some of these lessons for her, and I think that's okay. I'm probably going to use this book, the Waldorf Alphabet book, for her. So as I'm trying to teach my son like writing skills and things like that, I can have her sit down, and what it says basically is like, how many things, this is the letter F, how many things beginning with F can you find? So they're pretty pictures. She can kind of go through and just kind of look at them, and she'll have been hearing the sounds of F from our lesson. So I think that's just one of the things I'm going to do. So that's where I am with planning out our literacy curriculum, our language arts curriculum. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I don't have links for any, I don't have any, I'm not endorsed for any of this stuff. This is just stuff I'm using. So like, I don't get commission for sharing these things with you by any means. I don't even have like an Amazon Associates page or anything like that. It's just more, I want to share with you what I'm using and what I'm finding helpful. But if you're like me and it's June and you're planning first grade curriculum, go get this book. Go get it right now because you're going to need it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'd be happy to help you and give you any guidance, or at least point you in a direction where you can get your guidance. You can comment below, and please like and subscribe to my channel so you can get more on curriculum development. You can also come see me over on Instagram at Beautiful Light Home, where I share a mix of things, kind of our homeschooling activities, backyard farming. I'm a beekeeper. I get that stuff on there too. My Etsy shop stuff. It's kind of a mix of everything because it's stuff from my home and my heart. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But happy planning. Bye.